Hello, everyone. My name is Trish McCabe, and welcome to Conversations from the School of Hard Knocks. Today, for the first time, I have my guest joining me, Hone. I hope I said that right. I
Correct.
love it. It's a beautiful name. We had a false start because of internet issues, solar flares, and whatnot. So thankfully, we were able to get this done today. Um, Basically, I'm just going to go back and start over. We met some time ago online on Facebook, which I'm so grateful for. And a few weeks back, you shared a post that I just loved, and it was a picture of the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz. And in the
Right, right,
caption, you wrote, "Everything you ever dreamed of is inside your heart."
right.
And
Correct,
so
correct.
I'm going to let you take it from here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, hey, good afternoon and good morning wherever you are. How are you, Tricia? How are you doing today?
I'm very happy to be here.
All
Thank you
right.
so much for joining me. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it so
Thank
much.
you for having me on. So, I think I think to back up a little bit, I think it's important that we understand, when we talk about the heart, we kind of get confused about, where, which heart are we? If we all fall in love and we all enjoy different things in life, you get married, you have a girlfriend, your mom, you love your dad, you love your kids. So that's that heart, right? So what we're talking about is our heart of hearts, the heart that is inside, the heart that is the strongest part of our essence. Everybody talks about a broken heart, but this heart that I'm talking about cannot be broken.
Wow. Wow,
That's
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 powerful.
that's why we get confused because we all have a broken heart. We've all been in love and we've all fallen out of love, and we've all like have when we have this love of the world or the love of relationships, and there's nothing wrong with relationships. There's nothing wrong with wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, etc., etc. But there is another love. There is another heart, and that's the one we want to talk about here. The heart that is our strength, the heart that cannot be
Mm,
broken. The
okay.
heart that, yep, go ahead.
Which makes me think, okay, so the word that comes to my mind is attachment. I find our hearts get broken when we have an attachment to the outcome. What are your thoughts on that?
But sure. So when if we're talking about the world, right? We have attachments to this everything. If we attach ourselves to anything in this world, it's going to be the potential is for it to be broken.
Yes,
So it doesn't matter.
because we're putting our happiness is hinged upon whether that happens or not, right?
Well, I would say that there's one thing that's perfect. The heart inside is perfect. The heart outside is not perfect.
Hmm.
So we all want the perfect love. We all want that perfect heart. But we all you talk about the school of hard knocks. I call it the school of soft
I
knocks,
love that. Thank you for
and
bringing that
and
up.
and
This is
you and
great.
you're setting yourself up for the school of hard knocks by taking your heart outside of yourself. That heart out that you look outside yourself. What's something, for example, that you or your listeners might fall in love with with that heart on the outside, the heart of the love for the world or the heart for the world. What do you think is something that's always name one thing that's perfect.
The universe.
Well, that's on the inside. The
Okay,
universe
see,
is on the
wow.
inside.
Hmm.
The divine
We're
is on
not
the
here to be
inside.
perfect, like, or at least the
Right,
human's
right.
idea of what
It's
perfection
impossible.
is.
We're human. We can't be perfect. Look at this body. This body
Don't
is
even put
here.
yourself on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You let yourself down.
Yeah. This body. Yeah. This body. Yeah. You put yourself on a pedestal, you can be knocked off. That's why it's called a pedestal, right? But
Set
there's a
yourself up.
pedestal. You set yourself up. There's a pedestal inside of ourselves that cannot be broken. That's our strength, and that's what I wanted to talk about today: is the strength of the heart.
The
And
strength of
not
the
broken
heart.
strength of the heart. That's where our strength comes from. Our strength, our courage, our wisdom resides in the heart. That's how strong the heart is. And that's how
And
powerful
and
the heart is.
and so I hope this isn't too big of a question because I know it's a long-winded one and it possibly could be, but what was it that had you have this shift that brought you to this understanding, to this knowledge? Was it an
But
event that
yeah,
happened to your life or just,
it's really really simple. It's just looking inside. It's
hmm,
looking inside yourself. It's looking inside yourself for things that you can't find in this world. It's stopping this thing, this mind going around and around. It's slowing that down. It's getting in, it's getting in touch with. If you want to get in touch with anything, say what's something that you want to get in touch with. So name something, anything.
one thing I want to get
Nature,
in?
the ocean.
Yes.
You love going to the ocean. So there's one thing you have to do to go to. If you want to get in touch with the ocean, if you want to be with the ocean, if you want to enjoy the ocean, what do you have to do? That's
You have to
obvious.
go there, I
You got to
guess, in
get
your
close.
mind or at least physically, but
Yeah, you
go
physically,
there.
physically, you have to. Well, you have to be close. You have to get close to the ocean. I mean, you can hold a picture up in the show if you want to do that. You can watch a series on TV about the ocean, but
It's
if you
not the
really want the
same.
ocean, you have to go to
Hmm.
the ocean and you have to put your feet in the ocean, right? You have to experience the ocean. You have to feel the ocean. It's the same with the heart. You have to get close to the heart. And we talked about this the other day. There's a tug of
Yes.
war going on inside of us. There's that conflict going on inside of us where the mind wants your attention. Your mind has you on this strict path. Whatever the mind says or whatever the mind's going on about, it wants you to do that. It wants you to go there. And then as soon as you go there, it wants you to go somewhere else. And then wants you to go somewhere else. You're always like cat chasing a dog chasing its tail. You're always chasing the mind, and the mind has you on a string. It tells you where to go, what to do, how high to jump, when to jump. Even at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's telling you what to do.
Yes.
And so most of us, so getting to the point, so most of us are extremely close to the mind, and so we
Yes.
need to break that habit, break that practice, and get close to the heart. I'm just going to take a drink of water.
Oh, yeah. I've been, screenshotting some of your posts for this particular
Absolutely,
podcast, and one that
absolutely.
really struck out. Well, they all do. I love what you say. And this one is about triggers. Triggers are, for me, an internal response to an external. It's like driving a car. I can drive wherever I need to go, but if I allow others to drive my vehicle, then I will go places unwanted. So, too, I must be the master of my body and what I feel, to feel what I want to feel, to go where I want to go, and not to give the wheel of my car over to others. Goosebumps again.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
love
think,
it.
yeah, that's the, yeah, I wrote that 3, 4 months ago. I can't even remember when,
Chills.
but
Love it.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, we all wake up in the morning, right? Say, like, for example, I get up, I go to work, and it doesn't matter, I get up in the morning, and if I let my mind do what it says, oh, don't get up right now, stay in bed, it's like, you don't feel like, you have to face this person, you have to do this. It's not enjoyable. Why don't you, take a day off, stay at home, take a day off, or it says, don't worry, Saturday's coming, you're going to enjoy the weekend. But we miss out on the day because we let the mind take us on that little trip to wherever it wants to go. But we know for a fact that when we wake up every morning, we've got our routine. We've got to get up, have a breakfast, get in our car, do our commute, go to work, and we want to be able to take each moment of that experience from the time we wake up to the time we have our breakfast, whatever routine we do, drive to work and go to work. What do we want while all those things are going on? There's one thing that we all want, and that is we want to experience peace. We don't want the turmoil. We don't want the confusion. We don't want the doubt. We don't want this
The
thing going,
worry.
the worry. We don't want this
Uh,
thing telling us what we should be doing and what we should. We don't want this thing telling us, oh, you're going to have a miserable day. Oh, look at your schedule. You've got to go there. You've got to. The last time you went there, you had a miserable time. Oh, you got to see this person. Remember the last time you saw this person? He didn't like you. Or didn't like what you said. Now you've got to go. That's the mind. But what do we want? It doesn't matter what we do in our day. Is one thing that we do want, and is to feel peace. We want that peace to go and stay with us. We want the peace from the time we wake up in the morning. We want the peace actually before we wake up. We want that peace at 3 o'clock in the morning when there's things bothering us at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
We want that peace.
yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
And then we go to sleep. Then we finally go to sleep, and we wake up and this thing's chattering
The
away.
same
It's got
thing,
yeah,
monkey on your back.
it's got the whole schedule. It's throwing your schedule at you.
Oh my
You
God.
you want that peace, right? And then you're driving your car to work, and this person's cutting you off, and this person's flipping you the bird, and the lights are all red, and you're looking at time, and
And you're running late
there's an accident up ahead. Now you're
because there was
sitting in your
traffic.
car,
Right.
and you're just steaming. So yeah, then you've only been up an hour and a half, and you're steaming already, and you
Hmm.
don't want to. You don't want. None of us. None of us. We want to be. We want to experience peace.
I love
And
this. This is
you,
so spot on because just yesterday I shared a meme. I think you saw it, but it was like a mind full of fear has no space for dreams. And fear, what are
yeah,
your thoughts on that? I've heard the saying fear is the mind killer. What is your
but
thoughts on
sure, you've got fear, but if you have peace, it's stronger.
it?
Peace is
And
stronger. Peace is
mm,
stronger than fear. So if you know where, if you know where your heart is, if you're in touch with your heart, you're in touch with peace as well. You're in touch with your strength. You're in touch with courage. You're in touch with your joy. You're in touch with your happiness. You're in touch with your wisdom. You're in touch with your patience. And you need tons and tons and tons of patience every day. You need tons and tons and tons of strength every day. You need tons and tons and tons and tons of wisdom every day. You need tons and tons and tons and tons of happiness every day. You need tons and tons and tons of joy every day. We need to experience tons and tons and tons of peace every day. And then when you have all that, when you have that in your life, if you can, this is a practice for me. So I practice. I don't just get up, jump out of bed, grab my coffee, jump in my car and run to work. I practice going within. I practice going inside myself. I practice looking within. And I practice looking within to my heart, to the peace inside of me, to the light inside of me. And I sit every day for at least an hour, which means I have to get up a little bit earlier. But then the rest of the day,
starts your day off on a good note,
and it not only just starts my day off, it continues my day on that good note.
on that wavelength, on that
Yeah.
frequency. Or
Um,
I hear a lot of people say it's not luck, it's alignment. What do you think of
well,
that?
that's the same thing. When you look inside yourself, you're aligning yourself. When you look inside to your peace, you're aligning yourself. When you look inside yourself, you're looking inside. You have the light, you have the peace, you have the wisdom, you have the hope, you have the inspiration, you have all that stuff, and they all come together. You don't just get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. You get it all,
I
everything.
hear a lot of people say, myself included, um, when they try to meditate, the chatter, the
That's why you
mind just
that,
bombards them. And you said
that
something so
that's
powerful
yeah,
that was like,
that's why you meditate. That's that's
so
that's
great.
the, that's the purpose. Because we let our mind bother us when we're in traffic. We let our mind bother us when we wake up. We let our mind bother us at 3 o'clock in the morning. We let our mind bother us when we walk into the office and open the door and switch the lights on. We let ourselves bother us. This mind bothers us when we look at our boss. The boss hasn't done anything wrong. He just walked into your office and you're
He's
like,
just doing his job. He's doing what his best.
right, right,
Um,
right.
yeah,
So
a
yeah,
few
it's a
years
little,
back, a doula friend of mine, I had never meditated before, and she said, it's different for everyone. Just go to a safe place in your mind. And that really helped me a lot. I went to some place I wanted to be in my mind.
but
And that
the
really helped me
yeah,
to be able to shut out the chatter
yeah,
and go someplace safe. So
yeah.
your heart is a safe haven for
See,
you.
see,
Yeah.
the universe has everything's been pre-planned for us, and it's our job is to find how to, like you say, use that word align. All the
To
universe
align.
wants us to do is to align ourselves. And that
Mm.
and that's the and now we all got this thing in our head that meditation is going to do it. And meditation, you meet a lot. I've met a lot of people in my life. I know meditation is not for everybody. And when you do talk to meditation about talk to people about meditation, you'll often get this back. Oh, when I walk my dog, it's meditation. When I sit down in the local park, when I sit down by the ocean, I'm meditating. When when I listen to music, I'm meditating. So, but sure, that is meditation. But the meditation I'm talking about, like we're talking about when we started off, we're talking about the heart of hearts. I'm talking about the meditation of meditations.
And so what I got out of what you said last we spoke was the purpose of the meditation is to find out. So when you sit with your chatter, you understand how it's affecting you. Then you know what to do. You understand all these thoughts that are coming at you that are in the way. You're
Right.
not, you're not,
But
what's the
see,
word I'm looking for? Resisting them. You're
you've got it all right.
addressing them. Yeah, you're
See,
addressing them and then you check in with your heart kind of thing.
you've
How
got,
do you
you've
do
got,
this? What's your
you've,
process?
you've got it all correct. You've got it all right. A lot of people are like you. You know the theory, but the practical part is the mystery. Like
Mm.
you've got it all down. You've got it. You know the stuff, but so it's like, but how does it even work? You know, so so how
Hmm.
does that even happen?
I will share my process.
Go ahead.
When I'm getting ready to go to bed and I'm just bombarded by worrisome thoughts, stressful thoughts, and what have you, I go to that safe place. I found out that my sixth great grandfather was a Chief Cherokee Indian. So I go to a mountaintop that's local to where I live in my mind, and I sit with him and I look into the fire and I just sit with him. I don't have any expectations or anything. And I let whatever I see, I write it down, I make a mental note or whatever. But the feeling that it gives me allows me to be able to go to sleep
Hmm.
and just rest, my mind, shut my mind off, just
So where do you
be.
think? So where do you think that feeling comes from?
Well, I would say what we said, alignment with the divine, I guess, alignment with the void that they talk about and being, just
So a lot,
just
right.
being.
So a lot of us think that we have to go to these retreats, 10-day retreats, 10-day yoga retreats. A lot of
Mm.
us think that we have to do these camps and we have to sit in these camps and do the whole ritual. And a lot of us have to go on these pilgrimage to this place or to that place. But there's one thing that hasn't changed. We all carry it inside of us. We talk about going, the people that go to caves, nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is on the outside. This what we have inside doesn't change. So we carry everything. We carry the universe inside of us. It's just knowing how and trusting yourself to look within. We don't trust ourselves. Basically, we don't trust that. Like the stuff, the theory, but we don't trust. And it's coming to the point of being able to trust yourself so that you
Oh my
can sit
gosh,
with
yes.
yourself sit with
Yes.
yourself and access and make that connection to that universe that's inside of us. That's where the trust comes from.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's when I had a big shift some years ago, when I realized I was in an unhappy relationship and all of that, and I needed to make some changes. I just realized that the person that was always missing in my life was myself.
Mm-hmm.
I was always looking to somebody else for the answers. I see this all the time in abuse recovery groups and whatnot, where people will be asking for advice. But when you do that, you give away your power to know the answer yourself. So I would ask people, and I'm asking my viewers, if you're struggling with a problem or whatever, ask yourself, if you had a loved one that was in your position, what advice would you give to them? And they say, oh, I would do this, 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 this. Well, see, you know the answer, but you
Right,
don't think you do.
right,
And
right.
if we can't navigate our own lives and we're always attached to everyone else, we'll never be able to be centered, I feel, and never really know ourselves, like you said.
Yeah.
It's so
Well, yeah.
important.
Yeah, for all those people that are in relationships and good, bad relationships, the most important thing about any relationship is if you can have the time to yourself, if you can have 1 hour to yourself. Like you're in
Oh,
a
yes.
relationship
So important.
you're in a relationship with your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. You know, you might even be living with family members, your brothers. If you can have just that 1 hour for yourself, and then know what to do with that 1 hour. It doesn't matter what relationship you're in. Obviously, if it's a physical, if it's in some relationship where you're physically hurt, and obviously that's a different thing. But we're talking about the stress of mental relationships. We're talking about the stress of being involved and being around people. It's important for every human being to have time alone and what to do in that time alone. And for me, that's what I'm so happy that I have 1 hour to myself. And I learned how to, that's the key. I learned how to look within and look within to the heart, look within to the light and access that, make that connection within. And what are we connecting to? We're just connecting to ourselves. And we're connecting to the energy. Connecting to that because we're alive, right? I mean, sure, we're alive. So there's something in us
Yes.
there's something in all of us that keeps us alive, and that's the connection that every single human being has to make. When you look at animals and you look at wildlife, birds, they all have that. They all know what they're doing. They've all made that connection to themselves. A bird knows that it's a bird. A dog knows that it's a dog. A cow knows that it's a cow. They even know how to care for their babies. I mean, we have to read books. We're human beings. We're supposed to be the smartest of the smartest, and we got to read books about every little thing. How to we read books on meditation. We read books on raising kids. We read books on how what to do in relationships. We read books on every single thing. And the stupid little chicken knows how to care for its chicks, and we call it a bird brain. You know that
Oh my
because
gosh.
they
Wow.
they
Excellent point.
yeah we're all we just have to learn and understand and know how to connect to ourselves. Now, I'm not a teacher. Get that point clear. I'm not a teacher. I'm just like everybody else. I'm a student, and I've learned over the years to look within, to practice looking within. I don't even like to call it meditation.
This directly pertains to why I called my podcast this podcast. I don't even like to call it my podcast because it's for everyone. The School of Hard Knocks. And then the second part of that is wisdom from all walks of life. Children have wisdom out of the mouths of
Right.
babes.
Right. Yep.
We all are students and teachers simultaneously. We're mirrors to one another. We're all human. Yet
Yep.
we act as though some of us aren't. And this weird,
Yeah.
we are interconnected. We do need one another.
And we need
Why do we fight that?
most of you said, you had it. We all had that heart of a child. Every single one of us had the heart of a child.
I love that.
That's where we knew happiness. That's where we knew joy. That's when we sprang out of bed, and we haven't lost that. That's what we have to go back and reconnect to. That spontaneity,
Oh my gosh, yes.
that feeling of being alive, that feeling of joy, the feeling of just waking up and not even knowing what's going to happen today. That's the heart of a child. That's looking and looking at things with no judgment, you know, and
Wow,
feeling
that's so true.
and understand.
Yeah,
That's why when you see a little baby, we all go up to a little baby and we just look in its beautiful eyes, because when we look in the side of that baby,
pure.
there's no judgment. They're looking at me, I'm looking at them, and I'm not even judging. Looking at that, you're trying to look into that baby's eyes and grab that divinity that's in there and try and get it into you. That's what we're trying to do, because we're so full of judgment, we're so full of concepts, we're so full of conditioning that we've lost that feeling of what it's like to be happy and be alive right now.
And to have vitality. We lose our vitality.
And, we don't lose it. We can get it back.
We lose in touch with it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
But
mentioned
it's
this
there.
before.
It hasn't gone
There's a
away.
movie about this. Really, it truly is about this. And I don't know if everyone gets it when they watch, but it's called Citizen Kane. I think I told you. He starts off an innocent boy, playing in the snow with his sled, called Rosebud. It had the name carved in the wood part of the sled. And So he goes, he starts off a very vivacious and gregarious and excited about life and passionate, and he gets into politics and all that, and slowly but surely he loses himself, and in the end, on his deathbed, that is the word that he said, rosebud. I got goosebumps again in a good way, because he missed that. He forgot to take that child into his life with him and help it navigate, that part of him navigate through his life. It's so funny when we all talk about healing, it always pertains going back to the wound. And it's usually a childhood wound, something that you learned about yourself that isn't true, that creates an insecurity or a low self-esteem type of thing. And then we go into the world with carrying these untruths, these hindrances that
Yeah,
get in the
yeah,
way of us living fully.
yeah. It's not difficult. All we have to do is stop the ship, turn it around, and go back. That's all we have to do. We have to undo everything.
Undo, unlearn,
Yeah.
unlearn.
And every day when I turn within, every day when I look within, it's a new opportunity to wipe the slate clean, to reset, hit the reset button on your computer. Hit the take your car to the car wash and get it cleaned again. It's like vacuuming the house. It's like putting on a fresh shirt every day. The dirt of yesterday, the dirt of all your thoughts, the dirt of not all your thoughts, the dirt of all your concepts. So you put every day you put on a fresh shirt and you put on fresh clothes, and you every day you go home, you take a shower, you clean everything off. So when we look within, when we look inside, we shower, we clean on the inside, and you can start over again, start off fresh. And look, I'm not perfect, I'm a human being. I have my, I if I'm not clear, if I don't have my clarity, if I don't have my center, I can be shifted, I can go off track really fast, really fast. But I
Someone
I
else will end up driving the car
I don't want that to happen
and
again.
not
Yeah,
you.
yeah, 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 yeah. What happens? Listen, we're all human. If I feel another hand on the wheel and I feel that them turning my wheels, I go, all right, I need to reset. I need to stop. I need to go within. I need to look within. I need to slow down. Basically, I need to slow down, and that's the beauty of being given a new day every day. You know, you don't want to have those, you know, you don't want to have those days where it's just one disaster after another disaster after another disaster. It's like a disaster. You back out of your driveway and there's a disaster there, and you jump on the freeway and there's traffic, and that's another disaster. And you look at the next guy and he's like screaming at you, and that's another disaster. Then you walk into your office and your boss yells at you, and that's another disaster. Then you look at your schedule and you've got so much to do and you've got no time and you miss lunch, and it's like we go from disaster to disaster to disaster all day long. We don't want that. We don't want it. We want to stay with our peace. The
So
disaster,
if
let the disasters happen. Let the disasters happen. Just stay centered. Stay with your peace.
don't
Take them in.
and
Don't
this is
take them
very
in.
difficult because people meditate and whatever, and they get on to the day and they get lost,
No, it's key. Don't, yeah. Stay
and
centered.
and
Stay
so
focused.
would you say part of that is, and we see this in lots of spiritual practices, they talk about the power of being in the moment, being
Right.
present.
Right. That's what everything. Everything is a work in progress, and everything's a practice. And if you continue to, the practice has to be a lot of. What's interesting. I talk to a lot of people about meditation, and a lot of people just jump into meditation. They have, they really don't look into what the meditation is about. They really don't look into what it does for people. They just think that meditation is going to bring peace. They think that meditation is going to bring joy. They think that meditation is going, but they haven't looked into or got practical. They haven't looked at that person that's teaching them to see if peace is in their life. You know, if you're teaching meditation and you're teaching peace, you, I would hope that you have peace in your life. If you're that teacher, you can't just be teaching. It's not like, we go to university and we learn topics and we learn subjects, and the professor knows everything about, physics, but they didn't do all the experiments. They didn't do all the lab stuff that led to that result. And that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about peace, to talk about peace and to teach peace, you've got to experience peace first. You can't just teach peace.
Okay. Now, this goes back to something that I've realized that has kept me from being peaceful. Um, and what creates resentment is when you're not allowed to have boundaries, when you're not allowed to stand up for yourself in your environment, when you speak up and you get the kibosh, when you speak on your own behalf and you're told you're bad and wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you're not able to do that, peace is very difficult. When you're
Right.
not able to defend yourself and people that
Right.
you love and illustrate boundaries, healthy boundaries, and your environment does not allow that, and you know
Right.
doesn't
Oh yeah.
is
Right.
makes it that you have some problem for having boundaries, you cannot be peaceful. To
Right.
me, this is so important.
Yeah.
It's
Well, we
so
talked
important.
about a few minutes ago. We talked about how much strength do we need. We need tons of strength. How much courage do we need? We need tons of courage. How much peace do we need? We need tons of peace. Because the world is going to come at you and it's going to take your
Try
peace.
to
It's going
take
to
you
take your
down.
strength. It's
Yes.
going to take your wisdom. It's going to take your understanding. It's going to take your joy. It's going to take your happiness. That's why you can't have too much. They say more peace, more happiness, more joy, more wisdom, because the world, as fast as you get it, the world's really to take it away from you. That's why you got to. So it's a continual practice. To listen, when people go to the gym, right? They want to get big muscles. They don't just go to the gym one day. It's like a lifetime of going to the gym. Runners, they don't just run these miles and
Training.
they do it. They dedicate their lives to running. Dancers. Some people dance naturally. I don't dance. I can't dance. Singing. You got to
Singing.
practice. You can't just the average person, unless they're gifted and that comes naturally. Singing is a practice. You have to practice singing. Playing
But
guitar, you got to
even
practice.
then, if you don't, you lose your chops.
Mm-hmm.
As a
Yep.
musician, as a singer, if you
Yep.
don't use it, you lose it. So even if you do have a natural affinity for it, you still
Right.
have to work at it.
So why,
Right.
so why do we think that peace and strength and courage and wisdom and understanding is any different? You've got to, you've got to, you've got to get close to peace. You've got to work on your peace. You've got to work on your strength, and it all comes from inside. And it all comes from looking within. You've got to work on looking within, turning within. And this is maybe a subject for another time. Maybe some of your listeners go, well, Pune, he was talking about turning within and looking within. But when I look within, when I turn within, what am I supposed to turn within? What am I supposed to look within? What am I looking at? So I went on YouTube and I picked up this meditation, and someone said that you should look within, and so I started. My advice to anyone taking up meditation or looking, you've got to do your homework. When you go to a gym, or if you're learning to play guitar, you want to get the best teacher, right? If money's no problem, say if every musician out there, say if Jimi Hendrix was still alive, and he goes, if Jimi Hendrix is still alive, and he goes, I'm going to give free lessons, and you're a guitar player, and you go, I'm going to learn guitar. Wow. And Jimi Hendrix is giving free lessons. For a fact that he's the best ever. So why would you go to anybody else? Why would you just go to somebody that's like some kid next door who's played guitar for 3 months and he's good, but you want the best teacher. You want to have the best experience. So with the meditation, we don't even check out who made the meditation, where it came from, what it done for that person. We
Oh,
just
it's origins, right? It's
well,
original origins.
we don't do any research. We
Mm,
just we
right.
go on there and we think that we just buying a guitar. We just think that we're just going to buy any guitar. You have to know what kind of guitar you need to play if you want to play well. You can't, of course, if you can't afford a guitar, that's a different story. But if all guitars were free, you would just get a Martin, a great player, or a Taylor, a great place to
That's the
start.
first guitar I ever bought myself was a
Right?
Martin.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they sound, they're made for this
They're made
ultimate
and they're
sound.
made for the sound. They're made to play. But we don't do that with meditation. We just grab the first one we find on YouTube.
This is so important. I think the next podcast, I think I would really like to dig in, uh, going back to the beginning of the
Mhm.
relationship between the mind and the heart and how the mind gets in the way a lot. And
Yeah.
we don't
Oh,
even realize it on
that's
so
yeah,
many levels.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what stops. If we're unhappy and we're not experiencing happiness in our lives, we're not in the moment. It's because this thing. We're follow. We think this thing is. We kind of get confused between what this thing is saying and learning and being smart. We all want to be smart, right? And we think, oh yeah, the mind,
Mhm.
that's smart. But this thing, we need more important. What's more important than being smart?
Oh, this is huge because I see this meme floating around. I'm sure you've seen it too. We have a world where we're being flooded with information and starving to death for wisdom. There's a difference.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
really a difference.
yeah,
There's the semantics technical aspect to learning. Like you said, go back and study meditation. And then there's the practicing of it, the wisdom that you gain from doing it. So
yeah.
it's
The
so
beauty,
important.
the beauty of wisdom is that we all carry it with us. We all
Yes.
carry it within,
And
and
we don't, for years, I'll tell you, honey, when I was little, I had a learning disability. I was told I wasn't smart. And that belief hindered me for my entire life until I turned about 50. And when I started doing the meditations and working that, I was like, what is the thing that's been in the way? And in my psyche, it was the stupid girl, the
yeah,
belief. And man, I'll tell you, once I released that, I realized, oh my God, I'm so much smarter than I ever even knew. Not from an ego sense, more from the wisdom standpoint to which you're talking about. I
yeah, yeah.
didn't even know.
Yeah, there is. Don't get me wrong. There are some super, super, super smart people out there that can
Oh
do.
yeah.
Like, look. They're rocket scientists. There are brain surgeons. There are doctors doing. There are cancer. There is stem cell research. There are people doing crazy, amazing, 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 beautiful things.
Yes. Thank you for mentioning
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, we're talking about being the simple understanding of finding your own wisdom within that's going to carry you through each and every single day, each and every single moment, to be able to have the wisdom to enjoy that your day, have the wisdom to and the patience to do your job, to live your life, and to find your happiness. And we carry that
Yeah.
within us.
Yeah. There's
And
so
every
many
day.
elements. The happiness element too, I think are you probably are. Are you familiar with Alan Watts
I don't
and his
study. Yeah,
writings?
of course. Yeah, yeah. Alan Watts, he was
Mhm.
the guy that in the '60s went to India, right?
Yeah, he has some writings. I'm not
Right,
well versed on him, but he has
right.
some writings where he talks about the backwards law and that in the
Reverse
achieving
engineering, yeah.
happiness, we're suggesting we're not happy. We actually create more unhappiness.
Because
Um,
that's the mind again. The mind's telling us
yes,
how to be happy. Instead,
yes,
instead of we're closer to the mind and getting back to the heart,
yes.
getting to know the heart and getting close to the heart. That's where our happiness is inside of us, as opposed to the mind, which says, "Oh no, this is happiness. This is that." Get a better job, get a better car, get a better dog. Get a better this, get a better that, get a better bathroom, get a better kitchen utensils, and get a better. Get a bigger house, maybe get a fancier lawnmower. It doesn't matter what it is. We're all trying to, this thing. We get that, and we get that better lawnmower, we get that better car, we get the bigger house, we get the bigger refrigerator, and things. It doesn't stop. It just goes on to the next thing. Oh, you got to see
Never
that.
enough.
Never enough.
Always
Yeah,
looking outward
yeah.
for
Always
that satisfaction.
say that again.
Always looking outward for that satisfaction that only we can give ourselves. We haven't been taught this in society. We've taught that we need the boob job, we need the fancy car, we need the great career. We need popularity. We need. And needing is the state of the ego, which, by the way, I am not judging
You
anything I'm
know,
talking about. I'm
there's
not above
nothing,
any
yeah,
of it.
yeah, exactly. The key was looking out. There's nothing wrong with this world. There's nothing wrong with having, get to the point. There's nothing, get nothing wrong with having a big house. There's nothing wrong with having a
I love
big
that.
guitar.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with having 50 guitars. There's nothing wrong with having, brand new this, a brand new that. But first, look, there's I don't know if I coined the phrase or not, but I say, give up the world, give up the world, gain the universe, and you gain back the world.
So what ends up happening is you become the cake and everything else is frosting. Once you got the cake, everything else is a
Everything,
bonus.
yeah, everything, yeah,
Yes.
everything is cake. Everything is icing once you have the cake.
Everything is icing once you
Yeah.
have the cake. It sounds
Mm-hmm. But
incredibly
if you
simple,
don't
but
have,
it's
but
so true.
if you don't have the cake, you're just going to be eating icing all day, and that's
Oh
not.
my gosh. Yes, 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 yes. This is exactly right. I just love this. And I think that it's the attachment to the things that we struggle with when we think we need something to fulfill us outside of ourselves.
All the mind.
It,
You keep saying exactly the point. Looking outward, outside of ourselves.
outside of ourselves. And as long as we're doing that, we're giving away our power to know for ourselves.
We're
And
getting.
what good is life if you can't live your life on your own terms,
You say
right?
we're looking outward, we're looking outside. We're trying to get close to the outside instead of getting close to the inside.
It's
Backwards, like one
backwards.
says,
Oh, we just said it at the
backwards.
same time. I just got the goosebumps again. I know it just sounds corny, but I just love this. It's so
Well, Trisha,
timely.
Trisha, I hope that your listeners are getting something out of this. I hope that they maybe want to see another second part of this, because I'd be happy to come on and talk more about this again. And anything
I
that
would love it.
I'd love to. I'll probably rewatch this over again
Me too.
and listen to your questions but when finishing, we want to be, what we're talking about here is not from here, it's from here. We don't ever want to be coming from here. Once we start talking from here, it's gone. Magic is gone. It always has to be from
Mm.
here.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's it. It's simple, simple.
I was telling a friend about you because we're going to wrap this up here pretty soon. I was telling a friend about you and how excited I am about to do this podcast. And the title, the caption of everything you ever dreamed of is inside your heart. She goes, but what if your heart is broken?
There you go.
So when we come back, I would like to start with that. And then I
Mhm.
would really love to hear what you have to say. I would like to hear more about the relationship between the mind and the heart and how you address it when you're meditating and that process
Right.
for you. I'd really
Just
like to hear
right,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to. That's because this is my favorite topic, and this is what I think about every day. And this is what the tug of war between the heart and the mind. And every day I wake up in the morning and I practice going inside, and every day it's another chapter of the battle of the heart and the mind.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Um, there are no words. Like truly, I just feel,
Great.
yeah, that
That's
this is so timely.
silence is beautiful.
And a lot of people don't even understand what that means. So this is going to give people an in-depth understanding of what that means.
Yeah,
They
and
really don't. They just look out and they hear all these different ideas but they
yeah,
truly don't understand the depth of it.
no more theories, no more philosophies, no more
I love that.
beliefs. You
Yes.
know, we don't need that.
Beliefs.
Let them go like the mind, like thoughts. Just let them go, because what we're talking about, we already carry inside of us, and there's only one place to go. And like you keep saying, looking outward and not looking inward. That's all we. And there's a key. There's a key as well to look
And
in.
everything we want is an inside job.
Hmm. So more later.
Some more later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, honey. I
Thanks,
truly
Patricia. All right.
am so thankful for your time. And like you, I will be, reviewing this
Yep.
podcast so we
Let's
can build from there.
let's yeah, get together and put our heads together and our hearts together, and let's go again another time. So goodbye to all
I
your
would love it.
viewers.
Thank you
Hopefully,
so much.
any questions for next time? I love to answer any questions as well.
Absolutely.
Remember, I'm just like you. I'm a student as well. I'm not a teacher.
Me too.
I'm just you know, I'm an experience. I'm just experiencing life like everybody else.
And learning a lot. And you have so
Every
much
day, yeah.
wisdom. And I'm so thankful and grateful for you, honey. So
Okay.
I look forward to it.
Carry the light. Carry the light. Turn the light on. Bye bye.
Awesome. Bye bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye. Goodbye.